This is Spirit Journey. I hope you guys can hear me well. Hope you guys can hear me. Today, it's Tuesday, April 27, 2022, and the time is roughly 4:58 a.m. in the morning, this beautiful morning. And at 6:01 a.m. today will be sunrise, so you could celebrate, focus on the beauty of the. So, I don't want to stay too long because I have to get ready to go out. Um, this talk is really a continuation from yesterday's talk. I saw a movie yesterday. I think When Hands Touch, and I just found out about the movie by a fluke. It's a movie that takes place in Nazi Germany, and a young teenage girl, 15 years of age, um, born of a Senegalese man and a white German mother. And they loved each other. Yes, good morning, viewer, good morning. And she was a teenager at the time when the Third Reich came into power. And the movie was very clear that it was not safe for even biracial women, people who obviously were not, as I say, Aryan. So even though an Aryan mother, German mother, that her blood was not considered strong enough to carry over into her biracial daughter. Beautiful girl. And yes, she falls in love with a young German man. And in those days, it was mandatory if you were a German citizen, you had to be a member of the Nazi Party. And the girl witnessed, so here she culturally is German. She didn't know her father, raised by this white German woman. And she still was persecuted under the Nazi regime, and she was even in a death camp. It was a very good movie and a nice little love story. Sad because it's based on historical events. At the end of the movie, they tell us that during the Third Reich, there were 20,000 other people like her living in Germany or living, under their occupation, the Third Reich. 20,000 people. And in the movie, she said that she never saw anyone that looked like her. And her boyfriend, father, secretly listened to jazz music from Billie Holiday. Father loved that singer. The father was very practical and wanted the son to stay alive. The wife had passed away, and he wants to keep his son alive during this war. And I think it was the end. Well, I don't want to give a spoiler because I encourage you all to watch it. It was well done. It was actually directed by a black person living in Britain of Ghanaian parents. That's Ghana. That's in West Africa. What I wanted to, I started still thinking about the movie and fell asleep with a video playing in the background. And my mind was busy on um, events, what's happening today. And I posed the question, what is really perpetuating chance? Just think about some events that happened to me. How we can meet other beautiful black people black at least they were in the Americas the same way as it did in North America. But the pain and the sting of slavery, the shame of having African blood is so strong. And I live in New York City, as many of you know. And on the island that I live on Manhattan Island. There are people of black heritage. But upon coming here in America, these people uh, that I'm really thinking, you have many people that live here from the Caribbean, like individuals for the slave trade for between Africa and into the Americas. The second largest region, South America. Sorry about that. Thing that happened. He was a trailblazer, always. And I was extremely shy, self-conscious, because of later. So I noticed that the woman, she was born in the Dutch West Indies, the island of Midtown Manhattan. A lot of immigrants live from they call it the ABCs, the Dutch West Indies of Curacao. And she said this to me. And, but I noticed she was a light-skinned black girl. She had like a yellowish complexion. And she bleached her hair a white color. She wore a lot of heavy makeup, I remember. It's Dominican. I did say Dominican. And obviously a black Dominican. And the far Dutch ancestry. And in this system in Latin America, or Spanish America, is on. So again, come on. Yeah, the counter's not moving. Whether it's okay, we're gone. I honestly thought the girl was joking, but she doesn't come to my party. And where I live, the Hudson River. We're back on. But people from all over the world would come and watch us. Young, light-skinned black misses out on an excellent part. But she made sure like she would bring ancestry too, I think. Uh, see that he was a duke. A duke is a title. She misses out on a good party. Come on. It's glitching again. The number's not moving. Okay, we're back on. But she missed out on a wonderful party. And instead, I'm not saying that specific day she got beat up, but later on, she gets beat up. There are a lot of light-skinned black girls from the Spanish-speaking world who do anything to be associated with white people, to have white babies, light-skinned babies. And it's a wake-up call. So who's really perpetuating slavery? I mean, discrimination or racism? People like her, because they want so much to be accepted by whites. And even in Manhattan, you have people of Dominican ancestry, the guys, and they work in the tattoo shops with white people. But you know, black Americans don't work in those shops. They don't want to work alongside us. So they divide people by based on, like, let's say, are you a Caribbean Hispanic black versus a North American English speaking group, perpetuating racism by saying you can't. So who's perpetuating racism in America? Who's keeping racism alive? Aren't those people who like that girl? And again, you don't have to be to behave like that. There are also black Americans who use and say you can't associate with so and so, or you can't invite so wedding, or you can't have so and so in the wedding party because of their color. Aren't you perpetuating who do that? Racism. N-word, perpetuating racism. I regard a black woman, a biracial girl, during Nazi Germany, and it was a wake up of what mixed with it, and you know, Hispanics from the black Hispanics from the cities in particular should watch that and ask themselves, are you, you know, what are the black girl in my class, the light skinned black girl in my class, who's biracial, but the skin came out very pale, but she's obviously not a white person. People knew it, and they didn't want to talk to her. So she stood and talked to me. It's not the first time. I met another woman. Um, she was the same complexion as me, and I had to do jury duty. And I was the only one in the jury room at the time. I came early. Yes, I'm an early bird. So she sits right next to me. I wasn't sure what her background was, but I said, wow, I'm the only one in this room. She sits right next to me. Sorry about that. It keeps glitching. Come on. So this happened about between, yeah, the thing in court, in the trial thing, you know, the, what do you call it, jury duty thing, January 2016. And she doesn't want to communicate with me anymore. But she went out of her way to sit and talk to me. And what it looked like was that when she discovered I wasn't Hispanic, she doesn't want to be free anymore. But I was good enough before. I'm a trailblazer. I can stand on my own, and I don't need other people to validate me. These aren't like people. These are just frightened Caribbean women, Caribbean men. I had a Caribbean man twice, a Caribbean man from the Dominican. And no, I'm not trying to bash people for, but it's just very prevalent here in New York. They're the largest ethnic group in New York, and it's an island Caribbean that has history of slavery, and one of the longest time slavery. From the first of trafficked people from Africa were brought to the Dominican Republic in 1504. So over 100 years prior, slavery was up and running in the Dominican Republic. Slavery was introduced to North America in 1619, way over 100 years. And so when I see, you know, there was these men, and they tell me, oh, well, they're Indian. That is so sad. It is so sad that here you with a black woman and you're going to tell because you want to disassociate yourself with me. You liked me, but you thought by saying you're Indian, that probably I would like you more. You're a black man and a dark skin. Are you not, when you talk this foolishness, perpetuating racism in the Americas? Because white people to like you. White people know what you, and they may have different gradations of terminology to not offend you, but you are what you are. I also thinking about was I was looking into different countries now, and came across a country called Namibia. Very few people have even heard of Namibia. It's in the southwest portion of the African continent. And did you know that that country, it's a large country, but it is the least, it's the second least populated country, per square mile on the planet. The second country with the least dense population. It was taken over by Germans. It was a German colony. I had no idea. And the movie, not movie, it was a YouTuber who travels the world. It's a white guy, and he visited Namibia, and he traveled by car throughout the land. It is beautiful. And he went to this part in Namibia. Namibia uh, has very diverse um, landscape. They have desert and they also have tropical on the same in the same country. And he came to a ghost town because there were I think diamonds on that land. And so it's like a little over 100 years ago that it was being populated by whites to do mining to get the diamonds there. And then they closed shop and abandoned everything. So and this is in the middle of a desert. And so he visits some of the structures there. And what angered me is that, see, um, interesting enough, that country is 30% white and 70% indigenous. And they show the disparities of where the blacks live in and where the whites live, which were really fancy. And they're doing a lot of construction in Namibia. Beautiful, beautiful developments. And nothing is, it's not being designed for black people, for the average black person living there in Namibia. These places are being developed for white people specifically. Well, I should say it's designed for the rich. Isn't that perpetuating racism when it's the disparity of wealth? They don't have poor ghetto, but they got poor black neighborhoods, indigenous people there. And it figured because it's a Germans that control it. I mean, but see, it's who controls the power and the money. It's not who makes the laws, who controls the money. That that here in an African country, but who controls the wealth? It reminds me of West Indies. I used to live in the West Indies, Virgin Islands, and it's the same crap. Yes, you have blacks there who live in nice homes. Who doesn't like them? Who doesn't like their hair? And so isn't that perpetuating racism? So I said it's a really a wake call that not even Africans are safe in their own land when they have to see opportunities. And when I think of the girl, the Dominican, I mean, the Curacao, white, again, you date who you want to date. There are all types of people out there. It's what's inside of their heart that really determine what type of person. And that girl had no real sense of personal for her life, allegedly titled, and get beat up by him. So, and compromise the history of blacks who fought for freedom. See yourself today. Do you want to live in strength, or do you want to live in weakness and have people love you that really don't love you? To live in a country, your own native land, and you have no real control. You can live in strength today and integrity, personal integrity, or you live like, or do you want to live in power? True power is to be able to sacrifice the comforts in hopes of having white people love you, or you could live in strength, but you're not as embrace your country. I mean, embrace your heritage. Those people who came before you, who died, those who had a compromise, of those women who had to compromise themselves sexually to stay alive, because they really didn't have choice 100 plus years ago. Embrace the culture that you have, that holds on to those African traditions, the foods, the clothing, the music. Embrace that as your strength. You are a strong people. Learn your history and see through the deception of people who you worship. They're only as strong as you see them. They have no real strength in themselves. The strength and the power they have is by us giving up our own personal power for the illusion of acceptance. My living and being born and raised in New York City, I got to see firsthand how some of them act. And I started asking the question, what makes them so better than me? Well, the answer is nothing. They're not better than me. They're better than anybody else. But we give them the power by our perception of them appearing greater than we are. Do they have social advantages over blacks? Sure they, but they also are vulnerable. Every group has its vulnerable spot. Learn what your enemy's vulnerable spot is, and learn how to love and embrace yourself, love your heritage, and fight for your land, fight for your country, your home, and live in power. So at least you'll be at least respected, because people really like people who have real to love their heritage, love their bodies, love their skin and hair. Because the illusion of inclusion and how Hollywood perpetuates these stigma between blacks and whites, and black women in particular, and frightening the black woman to never get involved with a white man, as is in the movie that I saw yesterday, during the time of that war. So it's based on a true story, historical events. Yeah, yes, and love you. Yes, the, would you believe is one of those the reptilian race? So you're going to worship a white man, a white culture, but who is behind the force of these European nations is the dragon beast, the reptoids. Here, a little green with a tall man, reptile face, is who's really controlling us here on this planet. But you say you don't like a black person because they skin. Well, you really worshiping and supporting, but love yourself and stop compromising. Stand your ground, both Caribbean, Africa, North American blacks. Stop your foolishness. Open your eye. Love yourself. Come on. Sorry, it's glitch. I don't know whether the sound is on. Come on. Come on. See, it's glitching. Okay, we're back. Tile. Yes. But we're indigenous here. Keep your head high. And love yourself and love the people who you, okay? Again, listening. Peace, love, and power be unto you. Until next time, share this video with friends and family members. And you could support this channel through my PayPal link. To get to that link, go to my channel, Spirit Journey. On the top right of the banner of my channel, you'll see the PayPal me link. Click on the link, follow the prompts. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. And I thank you in advance. Thank you again. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.